I want something keeping my time. So I usually will start with just maybe a basic drum groove. And in my shakers, I'm like, what sounds do I want in that song that would actually make it ass rolling a little bit. And so I usually layer my music with my percussion first. I'm like, all right, what other sounds? Like that tambourine, I like to add little pieces of that. And I need something to make it roll and kind of stay on top of itself. And so usually I start with all of the drum sounds that I'm going to use first, because that's just me. Some people do keys and bass first. Some people do just a bunch of different elements. I like claps, And so you see it kind of stacks on top of itself. So now you kind of got the shape of where that song is going to go. You got that rhythm together. You know where it's going to hit. Hi-hats. So you see it kind of shaping itself is what it's going to be. And I like to start with the light elements of the song first before I go into the meat. With that kick drum. So you almost got your groove together, but it's not boom bap yet. It's not hip hop boom bap. That's that, in my opinion. So you go into that snare issue. All right, now that's when you get people up off of the wall. Whatever keys that I'm gonna use for the song. That's when the emotion comes in with me. Like with drums, that can send your emotions in a bunch of different directions. So, like with me, when you start adding those keys, that's when a song makes you feel a certain way, in my opinion. So we got all of that together. I always like to add scratches because to me, that's a very important element of hip hop, because this is, you got it first. You got two turntables and a mic, and you went back and forth and keeping a beat with your loop on the turntable. So that scratch, I like to always add. Finished product, it sounds something like this. Whatever you want to talk about on it, whatever it makes you feel like, whatever that song does to you, that's what your lyrics should come out as, and it can be different for any artist. Pretty. And one element now that is missing from hip hop is the importance of the crate dig. And I got records everywhere, and over the years, people people have kind of gotten away from digging in the crates, and a big part of that is the expense of sampling. How much it costs to get a sample cleared, how much red tape you're gonna have to go through to get an artist to let you use an element of their music. So back in the day when you had like, you know, Rapper's Delight and cats taking an R&B song and pretty much looping that song, at first it was cool, but then those artist songs that were getting looped were saying, hey, you know, we can get some money off of this. So then people started being really, really particular about what parts of their material you can use. And then a lot of people went away from sampling, digging in the crates. Like, I used to go down to Waterloo Records on a Saturday afternoon and spend 4 or 5 hours in a record store looking at everything in there. I'm talking about going through record after record after record after record after record, taking them up to the front and listen to it, and then buy it. And that was back in the day when it wasn't that bad on you for sampling. Now, and I say in the P. Diddy era, he kind of turned the scratch and the use of the vinyl into an instrument, like you hear dum 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 dum. So they were using the scratch as a fill at that point, where they weren't getting in, you know, in too much trouble for sampling, which kind of took some of the essence away from it. But you know, that's just a different way to do it. And what I like to, all right, so I got a drum track laid right now, and I can show you how I would take a sample that I dug out and just scratch and incorporate it into the music. I might take a sample that I like to scratch into it. So let's say I got that going, and then I want to use, scratch an element into it. Oh, also, I want to give a shout out to Young Grizz, aspiring musician that's from my neighborhood. How old is Young Grizz? He's like 14 years old, and he's trying to do this and get into it. And I definitely would encourage that, because he seems like he really wants to get that.